Welcome to Advocate Television, Crimes Against Children. Now, on January 5th, 2019, Caasi's face and nose was broke. Half of her face was black and blue. I took pictures with full makeup on, thick, which was done by her mother to hide the truth. I filed an ex parte, which was denied. My first lawyer's father was supposedly on his deathbed, so I hired another lawyer. This attorney was not submitting or reporting the child abuse. Pictures taken at 11:25 a.m. Mom showed up with the child at drop-off like this. She said it was a table, then a couch. Then she said she took the child to the doctors. When I asked, she said yes, but never gave me the paperwork when I asked for the paperwork. She lied, and it took months before Caasi got looked at, and by then it was already healed. Now we don't know the extent of the damage caused. Mom declined an MRI. I asked about soft tissue damage and nerve damage. Caasi now has chronic face pain. She cries at night, wakes up clutching her face. Caasi was 3 years old when her face was broke. This is only 1,000 days old and about 600 days from her first black eye at the age of 1. Which I filed an ex parte order. 2 black eyes, broken face, now on November 11/13/2019 at 5:42 p.m. She told me the couch did it. Her eye appears to be red. The eyelid is inflamed. Her mother texted me right before I picked Caasi up and said it was a sty. Attached as Exhibit B are pictures of the eye. At 5:49 p.m., I made a video of the bruises on her upper leg and thigh. When I asked her what happened, she yelled at me and said, "Papa Mondo." November 20th, 2016 at 11:06 a.m. My daughter was 1 year old and had a black eye, Exhibit C. May 8th, 2019 at 6:10 p.m. I went to pick my daughter up and she had a broken tooth. When asked how she got her tooth broken, she said, Papa Mondo pushed me on the ground. Her tooth was chipped. There is a video of her making this statement. Pictures attached as Exhibit D. September 6, 2019. I have a picture of my daughter with a flesh cut, which left a scar on her wrist past her elbow. Exhibit E. September 18, 2019 at 5:50. My daughter was cut over her eye, less than an inch from her eye. This was a case where she could have been blinded. Exhibit F. September 20th, 2019 at 9:49 p.m. I took pictures of my daughter's chest, which was bruised, and also her upper leg and thigh. When I asked her if her mama or daddy had hurt her, she responded, Mommy. Her butt, leg, thigh bruises, I have attached pictures to show the bruises. Exhibit G. September 30th, 2019, more abuse is shown. Exhibit H. October 2nd, 2019 at 6:56 p.m. There was trauma to my daughter's lower leg. She was bruised, and she said her stepdad had done it. I have a video of this and is available upon request as Exhibit I. October 9th, 2019, 5:38 p.m. Video of abuse. Mom and stepdad abusing her. Stepdad punched her in the back of the head, and when she told her mama then hit her. Head bumps. October 10th, 2019. I went to CPS and showed them the video of October 9th, where the child claims mom and stepdad abuses her. Supervisor told me that they were going to take it seriously. I told CPS Caasi won't talk, she is scared, but my videos are explosive. I didn't think I had to expose her like this, but her cries for help. Her voice needs to be heard. October 12th, 2019. 2 days after being in court, I received death threats. October 18th, 2019. Again, there were bruises on her upper leg, and again, she said her stepdad had done it. The bruises looked like they were from blunt force trauma. Exhibit J, October 23rd, 2019 at 5:31 p.m. Missing flesh. Pictures on the video. Stepdad had done it. Exhibit K. October 30th, 2019, Caasi claimed stepdad put her in her room with cats so that they could hurt her. Cuts and stabs. In addition to the abuse stated above, the respondent has violated court orders. We were supposed to pay half the cost of the conjoint counseling. I paid the full amount and respondent did not show up. Text confirming the counseling sessions and a letter confirming my attendance. Attached Exhibit L. I have also attached Exhibit M, letters from 2 of Caasi's friends in support of requested custody. Included for the court's information is a pamphlet outlining child abuse and what it is and consists of, attached as Exhibit N. A letter from Comprehensive Behavioral Services is attached to show I enrolled in the parenting classes. Exhibit O. I am requesting sole legal and physical custody of Caasi with supervised visits to the respondent totally out of the question. Dated 11/21/19. Signed off in pro per Isaac Mongia. It's 3 different letters written to the judge. And the first one is from Leanne Moreno. It says, "Hello, my name is Leanne Moreno. I am a friend of Isaac Mongia. I've come to know Isaac for 6 months now. Our kids have play dates very often, and many times Isaac and I have met in parks, arcades, or took the kids to eat. My son Malachi, who is 12 years old, recently looks up to Isaac. My daughter Trinity, who is 7, loves playing with Caasi and loves having Isaac around. My kids do not have their father in their lives. They come and go. I come from a divorced family. My kids are all we have. Since we've met and spent time with Isaac and Caasi, it's been a great feeling. I have a trustworthy friend and a mentor to my kids. Caasi has been a great friend to my kids who don't have many friends outside of school. Since I've been around with my kids, I have been present majority of the time with Isaac, picks up and drops off Caasi. Caasi is a beautiful little girl and very happy when she's with her dad. When we first met, she didn't speak much, but as time passed, the more she played with my daughter, the more Caasi was speaking to all of us. Isaac has been a great father to Caasi. I've never seen him raise his voice nor get angry with her. He is a very patient and cautious to her well-being. He makes sure she is fed, bathed, and provided for. He is a great asset to her life. I've never seen a father be as he is with his daughter. I have my father and he's the best. However, my kids weren't so lucky. They truly look up to Isaac. My daughter often says he's the best dad ever, and she wished she had a dad like him. My son always agrees. They, Isaac and Caasi, have a strong bond like no other, and I can honestly say that I wish more dads were like him. That dad to speak up, that dad to love, protect, educate, mentor, provide, and more without asking or hesitation. Isaac is that father. He is not just a father, but is Caasi's daddy. Over the period of time that I have been around, I had noticed along with Isaac that bruises on Caasi. As I stated, I have a daughter who plays rough with her brothers, a little tomboy, I guess you can say. I have never seen bruises on my daughter as they have appeared on Caasi. I am speaking because I know what it's like to be hit and silenced. I didn't want my mom in trouble, but she lived old-fashioned. The bruises on Caasi were dark on her chest and light on her knees and legs, close to her bottom. The reason they were visible was because the kids would swim and wear bathing suits. As we were getting ready to leave, Isaac asked me what should I do and if he should call the police. I agreed and said, yes, you need to report everything. We patiently waited and they came to do an investigation. The officers never questioned me. However, I had seen them myself. I feel I needed to speak on what I had seen because Isaac was not alone when he seen them. Any parent who loves their child is supposed to be their voice and protector. Isaac is doing exactly what any other parent or mother would or supposed to do. Yes, he was late to take her back. However, the officer was doing his investigation, so therefore that was out of Isaac's control. I have never seen Isaac be rude, disrespectful, or threatening to his daughter's mom, Raquel Clifton. The time he has messaged, I was present and he showed me the text. They were always brief and very seldom. I have never felt threatened or in any harm's way being around Isaac. I felt complete opposite. Being around him, I felt at ease and at peace. Aside from all, Caasi's safety is the main concern as well as her best interest. I asked the judge to take into consideration that Isaac has been a positive influence on his daughter. He loves her as a father should. A daughter needs her father nevertheless. She cries when she knows she has to go home. He can't even tell her he's taking her home, or she says, "No, I want to stay, Daddy." I've been that child like Caasi, and once I was old enough to speak, I moved in with my father. Because of my dad and his positive active role, I have had a better life. I would do it all over again. The time Isaac is allowed to see his daughter isn't enough. By the time he picks her up, he must rush everything, which is not fair to Caasi. He constantly has to watch the clock to make sure everything is punctual. He is not able to take her on trips, to take his time at the parks. It's always hurrying, and it's very tiring for Caasi, but she wants to do all these things. Please do what's best for Caasi and allow her to have that relationship she deserves with her father. I can keep writing so much, but I'm really trying to speak the importance of the situation. If you have any questions, I encourage you to contact me. Isaac has my phone number. Thank you for your time. Signed, Leanne Moreno. This is from Leanne's daughter, Trinity. Hi, Judge. My name is Trinity Chavez, and I am 7 years old. I wanted to write a letter because I play with Caasi and her dad, Isaac. We have play dates sometimes. Isaac is an awesome dad. If I had a dad, I'd want him to be like Isaac. He plays with Caasi and buys her food, clothes, and shoes. My dad barely sees me, calls me, and doesn't buy me anything. Isaac is the best dad. He spends time with Caasi. He always hugs her too. When we go on play dates, he lets us play with slime. Sometimes it makes a mess, but he is the coolest. Dad, he never gets mad. Caasi sometimes has bruises. When he would get wet, I can see them. I get them sometime, but not like hers. I wish I can see her more, but she can't go with her dad a lot. She cries to stay and makes me sad. My dad don't see me. He's not like Caasi's dad, Isaac. Isaac is the best dad anyone can have. Please let Caasi see him more so they're not sad. Signed, Trinity. To the judge. My name is Malachi De Leon, and I am 12 years old. I wanted to write a letter because my mom, sister, and I spent time with Caasi and Isaac when he gets her. My sister Trinity, who is 7 years old, has play dates with Caasi. Isaac isn't just a friend, he is an awesome dad. My dad isn't around, so it is nice to have Isaac and his daughter Caasi around. To me, and basically ask how I'm doing with school and in life when my own dad doesn't. Isaac seems to care about me more than my own dad, even if he's just a friend. I've never seen Isaac get mad or raise his voice. If I had a dad, I'd want him to be like Isaac. I think it's cool how he spends time with Caasi. When we first would spend time with Caasi, didn't really talk too much and seemed like she was afraid to be around other people. She was quiet, and now she talks a lot to my little sister. I am writing because I wanted you to know that Isaac is an awesome, most grateful, kind, loving dad. He's a great parent. He never gets mad, plays with Caasi, buy her what she needs, spends quality time with her. Please let Caasi be with her dad more. I see how happy and loving she is when they're together. I asked the judge to let Caasi be with her dad more because it's important to have a dad. Why? Well, I don't have a dad. He's been in and out of jail and prison. He doesn't help my mom with anything to support us. He doesn't even talk to me. When he does, it's like he doesn't care. He does it because he feels guilty. Long story short, I wish I had a dad, someone like Isaac, who even if he busy, he will stop everything to be there. Caasi is very lucky to have someone like him as a dad, but it would be better if he got to be around her more. Please consider how Caasi would feel as a kid. I can tell you it's not a great feeling to not have a dad or father. Who doesn't want a dad that dances, plays sports with his kids, he colors, plays slime, and just quality time with all of us? Having a dad means a lot. My mom does both roles of mom and dad. And I know she tries, but it's really not the same as having a dad. I hope you will do what's best for Isaac and Caasi's relationship. Not having a dad feels like a part of me is missing, but I'm grateful for Isaac. He at least fills that void as much as possible. I'll never have that chance to call someone dad. I call my dad by his name. Please do what's right. Think about Caasi and her needs and how she feels. Don't let her feel sad like I do sometimes. It's not a good feeling. A friend, Malachi De Leon. Wow. Caasi's so pretty. I remember when she was born, I looked at her and I started crying. And I remember telling her that no matter what, that I would always love her. That's what I told her, right when she was born. And even now, more so than ever. So all the weight is on me. And it's hard. It's hard. It's hard looking at pictures I think about the times that we should have had, but we didn't. And I think about feeling love for Raquel Clifton. I was with her for 10 years. I gave her everything. She had a house, she had a car. We had everything. I gave her a child. She gave me a child, but it was my decision to have Caasi. I was with the mother for about 10 years. The last year I was with her, maybe the last 2 years, I started figuring stuff out. You know, she would miss work. She was acting funny. House was a mess. At the time, I had gotten to a bad car wreck and I was having surgeries on my back. I couldn't do regular things. I couldn't work, I couldn't pick up heavy objects. So make a long story short, things started to hit the fan. Pressure was applied onto me and onto her. My child was just a year old. I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. I had surgery coming up, a major surgery on my back, and I knew I couldn't pull it off if she was like this. She had to go to rehab. I needed her in rehab. I needed her clean for me and for the baby. I needed her to take care of me, cook, clean the house, help with the child. And I felt like I wouldn't make it. I would have possibly died had I had the surgery, came home and lived under these conditions. I didn't want to catch an infection. So my future was just thrusted in front of me, you know? And I had to make a decision as a man. Being a man is about making decisions. Some of those decisions are easy, some of them are tough. This was one of the most toughest decisions I ever had to make because it involved my child. So one day, I had my mind set. I put a date on the calendar in our house. And on that date, I explained to her she had to be in rehab by that date. And if she wasn't in rehab by that date, I was gone. I was leaving her. And I explained why. I needed her to get off drugs. And the plan was to go to rehab. And I would be waiting for her with Caasi. We would wait for her. I told her everything would be fine. You know, obviously she gave it some thought. She said she needed, you know, a few days to think about it. A day would go by. She started telling me she was concerned about not working, not having her job, losing her job. And I was like, money is not the issue. The issue right now is you getting clean. She's smoking meth. I found out she was smoking meth. And she just couldn't kick it. She didn't want to kick it. So she huffed and she puffed and she lost all her stuff. You know? I remember one day I was half awake. This is a few days after we had the conversation about the timing of my surgery and me needing her to get into rehab. I remember I was half awake, laying on the bed, and I remember her telling me she loved me, and she gave me a kiss on my forehead, and she left. When I had woke up, I was getting all these premonitions of evil, wicked things that she was doing. You know, I had people who knew about some of these things and they were telling me, so I was very concerned. She was supposed to be at work that day, so I had a gut instinct as a father and as a man to call her job because I kind of knew she wasn't there. So I called, they told me she wasn't there. They said she hadn't been there for a few days and she was missing days. So I knew it was a lot worse than I had thought. I thought it was just meth abuse. But apparently she was smoking meth with her mom. And they would drive around and, you know, do whatever it is they wanted to do. So I decided right there and then that I would leave. At the time, my child was already at my mom and dad's house. And so it was pretty easy for me to get my stuff and just leave the house. And I didn't get a call or a text from her saying anything about where are you, let alone I miss you or love you. You know, it was just, hey, where are the dogs at? Because I want to sell them. You know, we had Yorkies, and she just was concerned about money. You know, and I just text. I don't remember if I texted her back or not. If I did, I probably, you know, I don't think I did, because I had the Yorkies, and I was so, man, I was shocked, but I was so tired of all her abuse, you know. You know, when you smoke meth, apparently you make horrible decisions. You know, if you're a smart person and you're smoking meth, you become a very dumb person. You make horrible, bad mistakes. And she made them and made them and made them and made them until I left the situation. That was the only time I wasn't right there next to her being abused constantly. So, as soon as I left her, I was about a week or two away from having my surgery. And apparently, Raquel Clifton and her father, Randy Clifton, they conspired against me. And the way they did it was, it's like conspiracy and art, and you just combined them. And that's what they did. They knew people in the courthouse. They knew people in law enforcement. They had family members in the courthouse. You know, so yeah, once I found out about that, it was way too late. Now the cops would come to my house and tell me, hey, nobody has custody of the child. Somebody needs to file custody. So I'm the petitioner. I went and filed right away. You know, I already have my child. And I don't know why Raquel would even want the child, considering her reality of drug abuse. You know, the only thing I can think of is that she wanted Caasi so that she maybe wouldn't have to pay child support or something like that. But for sure, she does not want the child. All the evidence shows otherwise. She hates the child. As I explained, I initially had my daughter. The mother used a very common tactic in family law called the silver bullet tactic, where they can allege anything they want and a judge just signs off on it. They can allege the other party's on drugs. They can allege the other party's on alcohol. They can allege the other party's abusive. They can allege all of that with no proof. And typically in California, the mother will get custody. And the mother was claiming I was abusive with no proof. I clearly was having spine surgeries, no shape to be fighting. The day 11/22/2019. That's the day that paperwork was filed in family law in Fresno, California. I've never been in a family law case with so much crimes submitted in documentation And that family law case was over like this. You know, within maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes, the whole hearing was over. I remember when I first came in, I had a witness with me, a woman who used to be with me a lot of times when I would be with my child. And immediately we noticed a man, a skinny older man, Hispanic. And I knew it was Armando's dad, because right away I'm like, hey, this guy Armando did all this to my child. Where is he at? He's not in court. The judge isn't asking for him. You know what I mean? But his dad was there, and he just looked at me and he smiled, and then he kind of chuckled. You know, child abuse is very serious. It's not a game. And it ain't funny. It's only funny to scumbags who commit the crimes. I remember I was very confident. All the evidence is clearly in black and white, video and in photography. So I lay my binder down, open it up, I got my paperwork, I'm ready to do battle. I'm ready to win, as I should. As I start communicating with the judge, letting her know, hey, there's child abuse going on. The mother's on meth. The only thing she tells me is, oh, well, it's unfounded. CPS said it was unfounded. I just gave you a whole bunch of evidence of crimes against children, and you'd have to be blind not to see it. And she goes on to say that somebody else said that it was unfounded. You know, that somebody else isn't in court. The judge is supposed to judge. And she neglected my child. And that was the last time that I had anything to do with her. I never seen her again. I remember how quick that court case was over. And you wouldn't believe the sheriff. The bailiff was running left to right, side to side like a linebacker in football behind me. Like he was gonna tackle me. At the time, yeah, I was a little bit scared because I was like, hey, this guy hits me, I could die, man. I've had spine surgeries. And then afterward, I thought about it and realized, wow, the child abusers are getting their plays right out of the same book that the judge and the bailiff are reading. They're all psychopaths. Trying to intimidate me by murdering me in the middle of a family law court session that only lasted 2 minutes. These people need to be arrested. They need to be held accountable. How many more kids have they abused? How many more kids have they trafficked? I remember shortly before breaking up with Raquel and leaving her for good, I was basically trying to get her to open up and tell me things that she never wanted to. You know, like the things that she was lying to me about, doing drugs, going places that she's not supposed to be at, doing things that she's not supposed to do. I always had this weird feeling like her dad was a weirdo. He was always real quiet. And as a man, I always looked at him and I was like, this guy's off. He's just not, there's something up with him. And so one day we were talking and I was just kind of like telling her like, hey, your dad ever touch you or do anything to you? And she would always say no. I'd asked her a few times before, but this time was different because I knew I knew somebody did something to her, and so I wasn't gonna stop. You know, I needed to know what had happened to her. She didn't tell me this before I had hooked up with her. So 10 years into it, she ends up telling me her dad specifically and other family members would take all the boys and girls in the family, the cousins and stuff like that, and they'd put them in a room and they would put pornography on, and all the cousins would watch it, and then eventually they started doing to each other what they would see on the pornography playing. I was just blown away. I was like, wow, like I've never even heard of something like that in a book or a movie. Like what thought process does a person have to take innocent children and pervert them? You know, instead of sexually abusing them, you get them to sexually abuse themselves and they think it's okay. I'm like, wow, like, you know, her dad is a very wicked man. You know, very wicked. He's in a cult. And they serve Lucifer. And it's obvious. Look at all the abuse. God, a good God, does not do that to a child. So if you're praying to a God and you're doing things like this, it's not the right God. I've never done nothing like that to my child. I would have never even thought about it in a million years. I think I would rather die before I would do something like this to any child. So I do believe the mother and the stepfather, Raquel Clifton, Armando Gonzalez, and the grandfather where the child resides, Randy Clifton, I believe that there is a lot of mental health, a lot of problems. Raquel had told me that her brother and little brother and other family members were suicidal and they had taken medication. We just want the truth to come out. Like Kendrick Johnson, like Emmett Till. These were parents who stopped being so concerned about getting justice and being more concerned about the world knowing your child's story. Because you're not going to get any justice if nobody knows what happened to your child. I think for any father, this is too much. You need family. And I have a big family. And they know what's going on. And they failed my child. I couldn't believe it. Still can't believe it. When crimes occur like this, sometimes that's all you need is your family to back you up, to speak up for the victim. And shame on Raquel's family. They all know about what's going on. None of them have said anything or done anything. And so that's why we're here to get the evidence out. We want everybody to see exactly what has happened to this child. You know, any other parent would have folded. I wanted to put this out. All the pain, suffering my family has gave me by not helping. I feel they're just as fault as the abusers. Do you know about crimes against children and you're not doing nothing about it? Well, maybe you have something to do with it. There's no in between. You're either on the good side or you're on the bad side. All these crimes now go back to the judges, the law enforcement who obey the court orders of these terrorists, and the district attorney who fails to prosecute, because she's sure in the heck not going to prosecute her friends. They're all committing crimes. No lawyer is going to represent these abused kids, or else they wouldn't be abused. And so we have an epidemic. We have a child abuse and a child trafficking problem in America. American child abuse. It's wicked. But it's your job to be the voice to the voiceless, to give hope to the hopeless. So, a lot of people have a story of family law losing cases that a 5-year-old can go in there and win, or a 2-year-old. You know, life is simple if you know how to simplify it. There's truth and then there's lies. You go into family law, you cut it down the middle, and you typically want to give the better parent the child. You know, in America, child abuse is like cancer. There's no point of curing it because of the amount of money that is made. And the snowball effect has been children dying in court, being trafficked, black eyes, broken faces, you name it. Bruises from head to toe, broken teeth, flesh wound cuts that appear to be done with a knife. You know, as parents, we've got to advocate. And the only reason why I'm not in my child's life is because of a conspiracy to withhold the truth. And the thing about evidence is it sits and it waits for someone to pick it up. I've picked up the evidence. Now I need you to pick it up. If you know any information about this child or any other children being abused by the Clifton family, please contact me. How much crime can you take? How much can you advocate? Being a dad is easy. Advocating for your child is hard. Hold on, wait for me. Wait for me.
That was fun.
Yeah, I love it. It's so pretty. Pretty, baby. Come on, Caasi. Spin. Woo! Again. Woo! Woo! Go. You got the Lunchable, girl. Got me. She got me. Where's that girl going? Yay! Looks so pretty. Pretty, baby. Oh, Caasi. Woo! Woo! Vamos! Happiest father in the world. Fuck it. What are you doing? What are you doing? I love you. All right.